Hello there YouTube, Devin here again. I'm currently very warm in my apartment as the air conditioner isn't working so great. But today has been my only day off in quite a long time. So while I sit here in a pool of my own sweat, I figured I'd bring you a video on probably my favorite helmet model of all time. And you've seen multiple videos on helmets of this style and everything else, and I've talked about them quite a lot, and that would be the Pasgt. But this isn't just any Pasgt. This is a Pasgt I've been looking for a very long time in my size. I found tons of them in size medium and small, but never one in size large until very recently, and that would be the lightweight Pasgt. Now, the lightweight Pasgt came out towards the very end of the Pasgt's life, so kind of late 90s, early 2000s. And what it was is where a few companies, mainly you see most of these as specialty plastics, they go as far back as making M1 liners. So they have a very storied history of composites and service to the U.S. government. But the lightweight Pasgt was it was basically in between the original Pasgt and the U.S. Marine Corps' lightweight helmet. Now, the only really difference between the first-gen Marine Corps lightweight helmets and the lightweight Pasgts is these screw holes. The lightweight Pasgts have Pasgt chin strap screw holes on them, whereas Marine Corps lightweight helmets don't. So, other than that, they're pretty much the same thickness. Now, what it is that a size large lightweight Pasgt weighs about 5 or 6 ounces less than a normal Pasgt. And, you know, 5 or 6 ounces doesn't seem like a lot, but when you're carrying that around on your head all day, it adds up. There's an old saying that you hear from a lot of like long-range reconnaissance people that ounces equal pounds and pounds equal pain. So taking 5 or 6 ounces off an essential piece of gear you're wearing all the time is actually a world of difference. So the lightweight Pasgt was changed up a little bit to make it, it's noticeably thinner, very, minutely noticeably thinner than a regular Pasgt. And I'll show you that later, because this one, the stamp that says lightweight Pasgt has pretty much entirely worn off on the inside. It looks like somebody was washing the shit out of the inside of this helmet. And there's some graffiti on the inside and stuff like that. Even though it looks pretty close to brand new, it looks like somebody was taking care of it very well. But they scoured it enough to where it scratched off the stamp. So, but we'll show you what makes it a lightweight Pasgt here as we get into the video. First off, it's a little bit brighter color. This would be an Army model. It's in a kind of brighter grayer OD green. It's like that foliage green color, pretty much, but it's a little bit darker than that. So it's not quite olive drab like most of the Pasgts were painted, either black or olive drab. And it's a very late production one, so it's in that kind of ACU foliage green color. Still otherwise, other than that, it's still pretty much basically a Pasgt, alright? Now, the Kevlar in it is very bright in color, which is another characteristic of the lightweight Pasgt, the later ones anyways. So we'll take a look at the liner now. Now, as you can see how it's very bright and it's very yellow on the inside, where you see a lot of older Pasgts are kind of browner and gray. And there's that graffiti I told you about. Somebody put I Heart War in pencil on the inside. This is an L7 mold, which means it's a size large, and it's the mold type 7. Which is what that means at the top. It's in, you can see it there, L-7. So it's a size 7. There's the number. And where it was stamped is kind of up under there. You can kind of see some writing there, but a lot of it was scoured off. Now you kind of see them kind of stamped around this area, kind of on the ear, towards around. It varies from helmet to helmet, but most of them are kind of in this general area of the helmet. You see the stamp, whereas a lot of the Pasgt ones are very low and kind of right around here, but this one's a little bit further up than that for some reason, which is characteristic of the lightweight Pasgt. Now, what makes this helmet a little bit other different from regular Pasgts too is the fact that it has foliage gray everything. Chin strap is foliage gray, the suspension is foliage gray, the sweatband is foliage gray, and instead of using clips to attach, it uses Velcro now. So there's Velcro on the actual suspension, and there's Velcro on the straps and Velcro on the inside of the sweatband. Just an updated way of doing it, I guess. So that's another way you could tell this is a very, very kind of late one, is because of that type of suspension and the coloration of everything. So we'll get a regular Pasgt up here. Now this is a Specialty Plastics regular Pasgt. This isn't the lightweight model, and we'll start off by saying here you can see the color difference. This is the olive drab, this is the foliage green, or foliage gray, or whatever you want to call it. You can see the difference in the coloration here. So we'll put this one back up now. And now here you can see the difference in the liners. See what I mean about how a lot of the older Pasgts are kind of this darker color, whereas a lot of the lightweight ones are very bright like this on the inside, okay? There you go. You can see where the normal Pasgt stamp is on everything. It's kind of visible right there, is very near the rim, whereas a lot of the lightweight Pasgts tend to not be near the rim. You can see the OD everything on here. All right, chin strap, suspension, and if we look at the suspension, you see there's no Velcro on it because it's the older one that was meant to take the clip type sweatband. Now, the older ones like this still work with the new sweatbands with the Velcro. They just kind of tend to move around a little bit more if it doesn't have the Velcro on the actual suspension. So now we'll get into the reason what makes this a lightweight Pasgt. Now it's pretty hard to tell with the rims, all right, but this one is ever so slightly thinner. It's a lot easier to tell, kind of like up here. This one's ever so slightly thinner with the rubber on it, and you can tell it has a nice fine edge on it, whereas this one's kind of rounded over. But this helmet is actually, the shell is actually a little bit thinner. The rubber rim makes it hard to determine that, but it's thinner, and that's because it's the lightweight model, and the shells were made ever so much thinner. And then when the Marine Corps decided to transition, you know, when the Army and the Navy and the Air Force decided to transition away from the Pasgt to the ACH, which its life started as a cut down version of this. The skirt and the ears were cut down a little bit, and the bill was taken off, which is why you see all the ACHs as thick as the original Pasgts. They didn't go with the lightweight technology because they were actually saving weight anyways by trimming all that excess coverage off. But the Marine Corps didn't want to lose any coverage, so they stayed with the Pasgt shaped shell. So all the Marine Corps lightweight helmets are actually the same exact cut as the old Pasgt helmet. And all they did is they changed the suspension. The early ones still have the 6 screw holes. You can interchange a Pasgt suspension with a lightweight helmet suspension as long as the shells are the same size. And they got rid of the 2-point chin strap for the 4-point chin strap. That's all they did. There's even some overlay where Pasgts were used with old type Pasgts like these were used with Marine Corps suspension and chin straps in them during like Desert Storm and stuff like that in the first Iraq War, because they couldn't produce Marine Corps lightweight helmets fast enough. So they had to take old Pasgts like these and use the mesh type crown Pasgt suspension and the 4-point chin strap in them, because the attrition rates were so high and the recruitment rates were so high the factories couldn't keep up. But I just thought that this would be cool for you, because I've been looking for a lightweight Pasgt for a very long time, because it's pretty much the only model I didn't have, and they're actually pretty hard to find nowadays, is the lightweight models. So hopefully you guys, I forgot to actually talk about the stand. It's kind of hidden, I can't really get to it because of how tight the suspension is on this one, but you can tell what they say, because this one in here, the original one, it says Pasgt helmet, alright, and it'll look pretty much just like this, except it'll say Pasgt helmet lightweight, and it'll say lightweight underneath Pasgt helmet, which is a little bit weird, but it's that's how you could tell them apart if you still have the stamp in yours. Hopefully you guys like this video. Hopefully you subscribe if you like this sort of thing. I'm a big fan of all the Pasgts. If you guys have a rare model of Pasgt or anything like that, and you would like me to, you know, look it over for you or anything like that, shoot me a comment or something. I'll do my best to kind of talk to you about the history of yours and stuff like that. I've got other videos on other Pasgts if you want to learn stuff like that. It's my favorite type of helmet, is the Pasgt shape and style. So please feel free to like this video if you like this. Subscribe if you're into this sort of thing. I do boots and equipment, and I'm going to probably do some camouflage here and there and everything else like that. And I give my opinions on some stuff here and there, and try to respect each other in the comments and stuff like that. This is more of a educational thing than it is really kind of arguing anything like that. So please keep that. If you have a problem with anything or anything else like that, remember it's just an opinion. So please don't tear each other or me apart in the comments. If you have any suggestions on how I can improve my videos, feel free to leave those in the comments as well. If you have any suggestions on something else you would like to see, I will do my best to accommodate you there. I have a whole playlist on videos just from questions. If you have some questions on something compared to something else or anything like that, I can probably make that happen for you. So thank you so much for watching, and hopefully I will see you guys in the next video. Bye.